Hello and welcome. You're watching the latest here on The News. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali. Let's begin with the story related to Tigress Avni. It's been a month since T1, popularly known as Avni, was shot dead in Yavatmal region of Maharashtra. But despite a state and the central probe ordered within days of the killing, the wildcat, reports are still pending. There is also no trace of Avni's cubs as of now. Multiple teams from across Maharashtra Forest Department are still searching for them. Meanwhile, animal lovers across the country continue to unite and raise their voices against the tigress's death. Wildlife activists took to the streets in Bengaluru and shouted slogans asking for Karnataka government to intervene and push the Maharashtra government to take action. Activists in Mumbai are also taking out a protest. Well, so that's the scenario as of now. The tigress was shot dead on the 2nd of November last month. It's been exactly a month. No trace of her cubs yet. That's the primary area of concern. How is it that the entire state paraphernalia of the Maharashtra government has failed to trace Avni's cubs? And activists are now up in arms with this entire issue, questioning the government for its inaction and, of course, for the various violations that were committed during the killing of Tigress Avni. The reports that are still awaited on certain inquiries that were initiated on the killing of Tigress Avni. Let me go across to Santia joining us with more information. Santia, so now there are protests once again, questions being asked once again. It's been a month now since Tigress Avni was killed. No news about her cubs, Santia?
The killing happened a month ago, Afrida, and the forest department itself confirmed that how the cubs, who are now 11 months old, they were spotted. But as of now, there are no whereabouts of those cubs. The forest department is saying that the efforts to rescue the cubs are still on, and they're pretty sure that they're still alive. Though the concern of the wildlife activist, one of the concern was that how they are too small to hunt for themselves and fulfill their needs as far as food is concerned. They were dependent on their mother Avni for that, and in her absence, they could starve to death. That was the concern of the wildlife activist. To that, forest department said that how they have placed meat bunches in different areas, in different portions in the forest, specifically the region which is there, or the area of the cubs. That's what the forest department is saying. But it's 1 month and the cubs are yet to be rescued by forest department. Afrida.
Okay, Santia, stay with us. P.V. Subramaniam, petitioner in the case, joining me on the phone line. Can you share with us your concerns at the moment? Since you're a petitioner, what exactly is the major concern 1 month on for the cubs in particular? And also, we haven't seen the inquiry reports yet, the ones that the Maharashtra government had promised us.
Yes, we are concerned on both counts. Firstly, for the cubs, because honestly speaking, they are not really old enough to start hunting successfully for themselves. Even adult tigers, they have usually just one successful kill out of 7 attempts. So you can well imagine what a young cub will need to go through to try to catch some prey. So we are definitely not confident that they are old enough to start catching their own prey and surviving. It's going to be incredibly tough for them to survive on their own. Hopefully, if they are going to be keeping out some meat or some bait which is easy for them to eat, it may be a different story. But unfortunately, we still aren't fully convinced about the welfare of the cubs. At the most, there has been one camera trap image which they have been flaunting, saying that the cubs are alive and well. But if they are getting regular camera trap images, they need to share it with the public. They need to share that footage to tell us that, yes, the cubs are alive and well. We don't seem to, bank too much on their credibility at this point of time. As far as the second point is concerned regarding the investigation report, yes, one deadline was on 22nd of November for the NTCA report, which has been submitted, but it's kept under wraps. They put in an RTI, but they're not releasing it. The other report from the state committee was supposed to be released on the 26th, and then they said there will be a few days delay. But still, see, all this delay points to the fact that there is something hanky-panky going on. Maybe they are fabricating the report. Maybe they are kind of, writing the report in the way it will sound nice and, make them look good. But all this delay is not giving us any kind of confidence that the report is going to be unbiased and is going to bring out all the facts very clearly.
Right. And the minister concerned, of course, is still in office. There is a demand, of course, for the concerned minister who is directly responsible for the orders for killing Avni to be answerable for it. Is there anything in particular that you have asked for in your petition in this case?
We asked for several things. First, we said that the current PCCF, Mr. A.K. Mishra, he should be suspended while this inquiry is going on. Everything has happened under his watch. So if he's still going to lord over the proceedings, he's obviously going to tailor-make it as per his instructions. So the obvious thing would have been to first suspend him till the investigation is done.
Okay.
That was never done. Then we said that the minister, at least on moral grounds, must resign because in spite of so many petitions and so many different approaches to him to get the hunter out of there and employ only qualified veterinarians, he just refused. And eventually the tigress died. So he is definitely morally responsible for her death. And in the good old days when ministers used to take moral responsibility, they used to resign. But today's ministers are a different breed, and they would not like to do such things, especially in a pre-election year. It will cast a lot of shadow on his prospects in future. So, which is why he's probably digging in his heels and refusing to move, in spite of the fact that he is very much morally responsible for what has happened.
Right. And before I let you go, because our viewers also need to know the larger picture, why activists like yourself and many of us, frankly, are extremely outraged with the killing of Tigress Avni. This is an endangered species, to say the least. And here is a tigress with 2 cubs. And now, not just have we lost Tigress Avni, we also do not know the whereabouts of our cubs. Now, that is even more concerning. That just shows the apathy that it's overall 3 lives that we do not, one, of course, lost, and the other 2 lives we do not know about. That is again a concern. Anand Civil, wildlife activist, also with us. Mr. Civil, your views on this, because we have activists across the country, across the globe, in fact, outraging over the way Tigress Avni was killed. What are your primary concerns 1 month since Avni was killed today?
I think it just goes on to show the apathy of the government. The apathy was evident in their intentions first, when they kept promising us that we would be tranquilized and then went on to kill her. Now the apathy about her children, trying to tell us that she's safe and they are safe and they're being taken care of, but no evidence coming out as would convince people like us. They just seem to be taking us for granted, and I don't know how long this lying syndrome is going to take.
Right. The argument that is given to us most of the time, and I would like to ask both my guests this question, first to you, Mr. P.V. Subramaniam, is that the human life is given precedence. There were 13 human lives lost, and we couldn't afford to lose more lives, and the tiger was proving to be a man-eater. Therefore, Tigress Avni had to be eliminated. Now, that's an excuse that can be used in future as well. Can we afford to lose more tigers?
Afford to lose more tigers. See, we need to have a very clear plan on mitigation. See, every time there's a man-animal conflict, you just don't pick up a gun and shoot the tiger dead. There are procedures, there are laws, there are rules. Everything needs to be followed to the letter by the book. But that's not been happening. There has been a lot of flexibility given to the forest officials. There's been a lot of political interference. So unless we are going to really strengthen the laws and ensure that they're implemented, we are going to see many more of these in future.
Okay, so, I would request the 2 gentlemen to stay with us. Breaking news coming in. I'm coming back to you. So here's the latest information coming in on the search for Avni's cubs. The Forest Department has now issued a statement saying operation is on in full strength, and the focus is on regular monitoring of the cubs. The plan to capture Avni's cubs, in fact, is on, and it's working as per strategy. So this is the Forest Department's response. I'll quickly get in Amita Balachandra to tell us more about this. Yes, Amita.
Well, this is the information that we've got from Forest Department. They've said that there is no downscaling. Earlier, they were searching for the tigress and they were trying to capture it. But after what we saw a month ago, now they're looking for the sub-adult tigers. They've said that everything is going according to plan, and they are trying to, localize the 2 cubs in a smaller area, and only post that will they tranquilize the cubs. Now, we must remember it's been 15 days since any pictures have been released. The Forest Department says that they've taken a call to not release the pictures considering there's a lot of solicited advice and rumors going around, which is why they're going to try and tranquilize them, localize them first and tranquilize them. But Forest Department telling us that the efforts are on.
Okay, so Amita, by that logic, we can we draw the inference that the cubs are alive and healthy?
Information that the Forest Department has told us that they are alive and healthy. They have located them, in fact, but they're trying to localize them in a smaller area.
Okay, so back to you, Mr. Anand Civil, your views, because again, like I said, that there is a larger concern here. Why today so many of us are desperate to save Avni's cubs?
I think the primary reason is because we have lost faith in the government. Their assurances mean nothing to us. The initiatives, the efforts taken so far seem to be to eliminate more and more animals. Very poor accountability, very poor sense of responsibility. Even as the search for Avni's cubs was happening, we found those 3 cubs carcasses that were found on the railway crossing, very clearly showing lack of initiative from the government to control the death.
Okay. You just heard our reporter saying, and this is a statement from Forest Department actually, also telling us that the cubs are being monitored and there is a regular supervision happening and things are deliberately kept under the wraps so that, there are not too many people wanting to interfere. PV Subramaniam, are you convinced with that?
Absolutely not, ma'am. When the issue is in the national spotlight, it makes sense to, at least release pictures with date and time stamps which are accurate, which shows that the cubs are alive. If they are saying that the cub has actually, the cubs have killed and eaten a pony is what they last released. Fine, in which case the pony was baited, so they will obviously have a camera trap around it. They could have shown the cubs actually eating, a baited animal. But nothing of the sort has come out. So we're just wondering, what are they concealing this information for? It's not an official secret that they can't tell anybody what
Absolutely. Especially when there are so many petitioners in the case, there is no need to keep things under the wrap. We need to know whether Avni's cubs are safe and healthy. Thanks for joining us, Mr. PV Subramaniam and Mr. Anand Civil.